I'd done a secondment to News International, and I'd enjoyed being in-house. I also know at the time, and this is still true, but more true for people at this stage now, that we were being encouraged to do less work and more selling. And I was actually very good at selling, but I knew that if I ever wanted to go in-house, it was going to become harder and harder because my role was becoming more selling and less doing. So the skills I might need, and it was already very hard to move in-house, and the skills I had to develop, I knew they were going to get harder and further away. I think kind of the prompt again, so this is a bit of a warning to employers, was I'd asked my employers at the time if they would consider a flexible working arrangement where I could have 4 day a week, 4 out of 5 days. So one day not working and one day working at home. So 3 days in the office. Sounds quite normal now. But at the time it was a little bit too spicy. But they said, look, we'll consider it. And they were considering and whether we're going to set a precedent. And while they were considering, I thought, well, let's see what's out there. So lots of things kind of prompted it.
Cool.
My experience out in industry when I'd done secondments, the changes that were happening around me. But even so, I remember you sitting with me and I was just so worried about it. I was like, I just can't understand if it's too scary to leave this safe place of the Big Four where I've been for over 10 years at that stage. So
yeah, no, I remember it. I don't remember the year, but I remember it really well in terms of how you came across. And if you don't mind me saying, just to build on that, I feel that you were not owning your brilliance, because obviously I haven't met you. I'd seen your CV and I'd seen what you'd done. I was like, oh my God. And then I met you and you were introverted, quietly spoken, sharp. Obviously when we were speaking, I could tell like it's going on in there, but just not walking with the confidence of someone who could in effect get most roles you applied for within reason. So yeah, to see you now and know you over the years and the transition it's been awesome. You know, and I sit here with my popcorn and there's
one of your success stories.
Yeah, well, listen, I would like to say I'm a what am I? A conduit rather than a creator, because I didn't study like you studied and I didn't do the things that you did. And I think one thing I love about what you said is just taking the step to do a bit of an audit on yourself in terms of where you are, what you enjoy doing, and then actually, if I should stay on this path, will I be further away from the things that I want or not? And then making the decision at that time, because I think often people think you've got to have it all figured out, but how do we know until you get to the bit where actually you're at crossroads and then you decide, you know?
Yeah.
You know, so the move in house comes, and I believe it was, checking on my screen, 2013. So we met within a short time, days, I'd love to profess, but it wasn't. But we got you a new role, you interviewed and got on well. How was that transition from working with many clients and being part of a massive machine where there is development, there's a clear defined path, etc., to moving in-house where it comes with all the magic, but all the messiness that most companies have? Like, what was that transition like, just to share a bit around that?
It was so hard, actually. And so I'm really thoughtful of it when I've recruited in-house, particularly from practice now. I'm so thoughtful of how hard it is, because I think it varies. I think if you go into a big team, it can almost be very similar. But where you're going into these small in-house or greenfield roles, like, it's just really hard, because you go from, if someone fires off, so typically you're coming from a corporate background, a corporate tax background, someone starts firing off these different sorts of questions to you, and you think, okay, where's my guy who knows that? I'm just going to pop up to the third floor and ask them. But it's all on you. So that was hard, having to learn how to find answers for yourself. But it's nice because you have the time, so you don't have the same sort of chargeable time pressures and how much time you're going to put on a client code. I think that the point about having a defined career path is actually very interesting, because that again is hard. Like, I was really used to, you will do 2 years as manager, then you will be senior manager, then you will do. And so it's kind of clear the hurdles that you have to meet.
Yeah.
And it's a lot less clear. But on the other hand, if you do well and people are pleased with you, the career paths are there. It's just not so obvious, and it's a lot harder to. You have to keep building business cases for yourself, and you have to keep, like, in reality, there's not an infinite number of positions.
Right.
There's a fight, so you could be waiting for people to leave, and sometimes in some places you may find yourself waiting for a long time. So there's definitely a challenge, and I think, but the hardest challenge I think I found was the initial feeling of being alone, of having to find answers on your own, and learning how you make those judgments about when you go, because you can initially feel that you have to have all the answers for yourself.